ready to meet the 2018 Voice Acting Competition Challengers! Also known as the Voice Actor Q&A. So let's put our hands together and give a warm welcome for your contestants! Everybody come on! Come on, you gotta do better than that, come on!
Someone say White Castle? I'm gonna do that.
Someone said, oh, White Castle, that was from my panel.
Whatever, Pants Castle, it's all the same thing.
Same thing. I'll take my pants off for White Castle.
And there's a, oh my God, that's amazing, whoever is doing that.
The gentleman or gentlewoman in the back, or some hybrid thereof, is doing... Who is it? Evan and Dr. Andy. Evan and Dr. Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it a big hand. They are exquisite in finding video stills, samples for us as we bring up names like, oh gosh, how about Phil LaMarr in Pulp Fiction? Let's see what they got for that. Huh? Let's see how quick they get.
You're testing them.
Yes, I am. Yeah, they've done it to me enough.
Do we have a moderator for this? Because we'll just talk forever.
That would be me. Hi! All right, so we're going to do Q&A, and then at the end we got a little surprise for you guys. So if you guys want to line up, and please have your questions ready.
I'm just going to smother. Like, what?
Should we?
No,
hey, LaMarr, you're on.
There it is.
Aww.
But yeah, why don't we, you guys introduce yourselves for everybody, just in case they've been under a rock for the past 24 hours. And...
First of all,
we're just out here today.
Oh, you gonna go down there?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, go, you start. Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Sarah Wiedenheft. I live in Texas. I voiced her from Miss Kobayashi's Track and Maid. I don't know where that came from. So.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Saxton.
Hi, I'm Phil LaMarr.
Can't believe I'm sitting next to you. Hi, I'm Jessica Calvello.
I'm Jessica Calvello.
Two of us. That's amazing.
You have a much
Whoa.
Also known as Quinton Flynn. And
Oh, Lord. Happy Saturday, everyone.
can we get some more monitors? Because I can't hear anybody on stage. Everything's off the fronts. So, you know, if we could...
He's talking his rock and roll talk.
Yeah, I'm deaf.
Get more monitor. Everything's in the fronts.
He's a Brit punk rocker.
Can we get some mids and highs? Thanks. Oh,
That was brilliant.
you're lucky this is...
Hi.
Hi, you're lucky this is...
Small child here, behave.
Okay, oh yeah, so PG-13, right? You have to tell me, because I'll just curse.
You really have to tell her.
You really have.
Twice.
We have
You
kids
must.
here, yeah?
It is vital.
Okay.
Oh, she says yes, please, Jessica.
Maybe PG-9. I can work with that. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So, obviously, you've all done a plethora of different roles or performances throughout your life, but maybe there are some that are lesser known. So can you tell us what you think would be your most underappreciated or unknown performance, like, you know, something you did that you felt that you did a great job with, but maybe a lot of people don't know that you did, you know, maybe something very early or something recent could be.
We got you.
I got one. So one of my first leads is this ridiculous 28-minute just show of nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. It's called Princess Minerva. And the director was like, I don't really understand this show. It doesn't make any sense. You're Princess Minerva, do whatever you want. And I did whatever I wanted. And it was so much fun. And it made no sense. And it was a really great cast, too. This was back in the early days of dubbing. Like 1997, I think. Before some of you were born. Anyway, oh my God, there it is. Kudos to the amazing technical. Yeah, so Princess Minerva is the blonde thing. So yeah, that was mine. It's Princess. You can still find it. It's so dumb.
Has 97 hair written all over it.
It is 97 hair. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's guilty show. Guilty pleasure.
What is some feedback, man?
Oh God. Don't blow your ears out.
You got one, Jade?
Yeah, I have one. It was a show called Shangri-La, and I played a character named Karen, and I also was a shut-in, and so I had, like, I was an evil genius shut-in, you know, like you are, and and also 12, because always, but and I had a teddy bear named Pudding, and I had to go back and forth between her voice and then her talking for the teddy bear to her because she was a little crazy. So yeah, where's that picture? Did you find it yet?
Keep talking. Stall them.
Shangri-La, it really is like, has anyone seen it? Look,
I saw hand go up.
there it is. There. Oh yeah, and thank you for reminding me that I, for the majority of it, had to have a chupa chup in my mouth because she was constantly talking with the lollipop in her mouth.
What's a chupa chup?
Yes. So yeah, y'all, if you...
You have a chewy center?
It's no, just, I don't think Chupa Chups have that.
Jade has a chewy center.
Yes.
How about-
She's sweet. Come on, work with me here. Are you guys asleep?
I'm with you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Highly recommend Shangri-La. Thank you.
A Shangri-La.
I'm not sure if I really have one like that. I mean, if anything,
Sarah's so popular.
I feel like
All of my
maybe like Charmy from Black Clover like needs more airtime, you know? Like I feel like she's a really underrated character. Like I don't know, that's the most relatable character to me. Like just always trying to find food, always eating at some place.
Where'd you
What's the name of the character from Black Clover?
Charmy,
Charmine?
Charmy, like a charm and then an E.
Ing.
And Ing, and I'm waiting for the picture. I'm like obsessed with this.
Where'd you put the banana?
Hey, PG9.
Where indeed?
What about you, Phil?
I did a show, a really funny show called Murder Police.
Murder what?
Murder Police.
Excellent.
Oh, don't worry about it. You won't be able to find any of it because we originally it was basically like a Family Guy meets Barney Miller. It was like a really dysfunctional animated cop show created for Fox, and they originally cast Wilmer Valderrama, who is renowned for his voice acting skills.
Yeah.
And then thought better of it, and I revoiced his character. But it was a great cast. It was Will Sasso, Jane Lynch, Penny Marshall, like all of these amazing people.
Bunch of hacks.
And we did the entire season, and Fox canceled it without ever airing it.
Oh, that sucks.
It has never ever seen the light of day.
Do you have the bootleg?
Yeah, do you
Nope.
have it?
Aw, shoot.
I've never seen it.
Well, this became a
But I have a jacket that says Murder Police on it.
Cool. You got one?
I want one.
I got nothing.
All right.
I mean, these are really great stories. I could make something up, but I gotta be honest. I can't think of
It
it.
will be on the internet, and then it will be true.
Okay, all right.
There will be pictures to prove it.
Oh my gosh.
That's me in the
I would
back
watch
with the
that.
sunglasses and the gun.
Looking cool.
So watch that.
Amazing. Oh my God, you guys found it.
That's
I
crazy.
want to be the guy
Not right.
who's riding the little cart there.
Oh yeah.
I want to be that guy.
That was Peter Atencio as the captain.
Oh, hey, get out of my way. I'm going shopping.
That's probably how he sounds.
can't stop me, I want bananas. I'm crazy like that.
No.
I do, I love them. Peanut butter and bananas at night, 2 in the morning when I can't eat anything else.
Potassium.
I need it. That's it. Give me my cart. And that's
Rascal.
I'm a rascal. And that was a show I did. It was called Cart Food. Cart Food. And no one, you see, you couldn't even heard of it. But there it is. There was the cart. I rode around it. I was invisible. But you heard my voice.
Are you making this up?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, you're still there.
Cousin. Oh, thank you.
Good to see you.
Actually, real quick, were you singing Shangri-La by
Seriously, dude.
My ELO.
Yeah. People behind you.
My Shangri-La has
Thank you.
gone away.
That's the name of the show I was in. Thank you.
We're kidding.
See, that was worth it just for that, man. Well done. That's a 1976 cut.
Do you have a moon on your face?
I do.
I love it.
My question is
Beautiful.
for kind of piggybacking off of his question. What was your favorite Small World cameo you might have done in the show, whether it was animation or live action?
No,
What do you
wheels
mean?
are small.
Except the ones that you don't remember.
I have no idea.
I got one.
Still charming.
Yes.
I got one. Okay. In 1995, they did a reboot of Johnny Quest that originated in 1966, right? So growing up as a kid, you know, got to watch those reruns, and it was like, you know, you really wanted to be Johnny Quest or Haji or one of those guys. So I guessed it on that series, and Hanna-Barbera at the time, they hired a director who was from Britain, and he had never seen Johnny Quest. Moreover, he didn't want to, and he was condescending. He's like, I'm not going to do it like they did. I don't want to see it. Right? And we're going to cast different people. And Race Bannon, who sounded like this, come on, Johnny, we've got to go find Haji. Instead, they hired Robert Patrick, who was in Terminator 2. He was the cop.
The T-1000.
This guy. Yeah, right? And he did a southern kind of guy. How you doing? Anyway, it was garbage. It was rubbish. So my cameo, I guessed it on this series, and all I was thinking is, oh, it'd be nice if they did it right. So I came back to do pickups, which means we come back as actors to pick up some lines
That they've rewritten or changed in some way.
Yes.
Exactly. And at that time, the director was replaced by a film, my dear friend Chris Zimmerman, and they brought in new writers who loved Johnny Quest, and they said, Quinton, would you read the part of Johnny just for this while you're here? I'm like, oh, sure. And I did, and they asked me to do it again, and I did, and then afterwards they said, you're our new Johnny.
You're
So by
Johnny.
doing a cameo on Johnny Quest Season 1 that everybody hated, I became Johnny for Season 2. There it is. Premiered in 1996, 30 years later to the day of the premiere of the 66 original Quest, and it honored that first series to the T. And we brought in Jessie, who was played by Jennifer Hale.
Nice.
We know and love.
Who are you on the monitor?
I'm just blonde-haired kid. I'm Johnny.
Aww.
Yeah, Johnny Quest. I got an adventure. My dad, Ben Quest, was John Delancey, who was Q in Star Trek Next Generation. And, yeah, big guy. Haji was Michael Benyer and Rob Paulson at different times, and Dr. Benton Quest. Oh no, the other guy. Race Bannon was Sonny Van Dusen. Yeah, okay. Anyway, there you go. That's my story.
There is no guest appearance story that's going to beat that. Thank you.
Yay, thanks.
Unfortunately, I'm going to piggyback off them also.
Okay.
Which piggyback?
What was your least favorite character to play ever?
I am so bad at answering this because I don't have a least favorite character. I like them all. I suck at answering this question. I'm asked, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm asked that a lot. Like, what did you have the least amount of fun? Doesn't exist.
Why would you ask that? That's like, which is your worst ex-wife? I don't want to think about that, bitch! Now I am.
He meant when he said female dog is what he was referring to.
PG-9.
The B word, yeah.
I was going to do the obligatory question of asking for tips on becoming a voice actor.
No, okay, sorry, I won't speak for all of us.
So your first answer is you don't have a role that you didn't care for.
No, I like them all.
Okay, how about the rest of you folks
I
here?
want to answer for everyone.
Yeah, you're right, all right.
I have a hard time thinking about that too. Like, I had fun doing whatever roles I was in. You know what I mean? Like, it's acting, and it's what I'm here for now. And
Right.
whatever I do, I'm gonna enjoy it, along with the other people.
My least favorite role was left out. I'll say it again. My least favorite role was left out.
It's not a role, it's a position.
You're right.
Jane, do you have an answer to this question? No. Okay. Thank you. Yay!
You do what you love and you love what you do, you will never have a bad role.
Do what you want and want what you do.
I'll put your heart into it.
Motto.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I actually came to Quinton's Q&A
Yesterday.
and he had done like a White Castle birthday party for all his like characters, or like 5 of his characters. I was wondering if you guys could do something same like that, but with one of your guys' favorite characters that you just want to choose.
Like each one of us pick a character and be at a location and improvise a scene?
Yeah.
I don't understand the what?
Well, it's like this.
Is this?
What they want us to do is basically pick a location and something and an activity, and each one of us will do any character you want. It could be a character impression, something you've done, something that you're comfortable with.
Basically wants you to do a cartoon with everything except the drawing. Go.
No, you don't need. All of us would improvise it together. Yesterday I did 5 characters by myself in a scene.
So are we? So we're all together as our characters.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the scene?
Where would you like the location?
I was thinking like a Burger King, and it's also going to be a birthday party, but for Quinn's character from Bleach.
Oh, for Cone. I do a little stuff.
You have to pick the characters.
Right. All right. So it's at Burger.
You personally pick this.
Oh, okay. Quinn.
Anybody?
For Jessica, then
I heard Excel first. You got it.
there we go.
It's gonna be
Bill?
a mess.
Hermes.
Jane?
Hana. No.
Sarah?
Give me your original!
Okay, if I may, just to make it easier, since it's a birthday party at Burger King, I'm just going to tell you my character, each of us can at least say who our characters are so we know who we're relating to. My character, Cone, is a little, plushy, pervy, stuffed lion. It's obnoxious, like me.
I'm Excel, and I'm gonna take over the world, and you can't stop me, and I never ever took my medication.
How old are you? What, are you a girl or a boy?
Figure it out. Figure it out. You're on your own.
What's your name again, honey? Your name?
Excel.
Okay, I got it. Bill?
That made my heart pound.
Well, Hermes is a 36 level grade level bureaucrat in the year 3000.
Kana is a small lowly dragon. Age unknown.
What's your name again? I'm sorry. What's her name?
Kana.
Anna.
She's so cute.
Don't lewd the dragon only.
Okay. I'm dragging my heart around. All right.
I'm Toru. You can ask anything at all of me. I mean, as Kobayashi can. I might kill all of you.
Do you perform magic or something?
I can do all kinds of things.
Figure it out. What?
I can do all kinds of things.
Okay, great.
I'm a dragon.
Great, so we're at Burger King. It's Cone's birthday. He's a plushy little perv. We already have a Cone established here. Cone. And he's Hermes, and she's XXL, and you are Dragon. What's your character?
Kana.
Kana.
Kana, Cone, Toru,
Toru.
and
All right.
Hermes.
All right.
Can y'all write that on the...
I won't remember any of this.
You guys are really great bringing me Burger King for my friggin' birthday.
Well, it is the only thing
that we could fit into the Planet Express budget. That's all we got left for birthdays.
Well, can I...
Arsenic? Wait, we don't have to pay extra for arsenic, do we?
No, it's free.
All right.
Is there any old lace with that arsenic?
I don't know what that means.
That's okay. Most people don't.
No, it's important. If you're going to give him a gift, you got to give them in alphabetical order. So do you have anything that starts with A? Toru?
Anything that starts with what?
Well, in A, the alphabet. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Dragons don't do alphabets. Now you're going to bring me up on charges. Okay,
I'll tell you what.
Being sensitive.
For my birthday, I want to ride the dragon, I want to fly in the sky, and I want to make magical love to you.
And C.
Thank you. That's it. And as usual, Cone didn't get his wish and he got the stuffing kicked out of him. The end.
Arsenic! Sorry.
Can I just ask about your humble beginnings as voice actors? How did you get your names out?
You have a nice voice.
Thank you.
And a powerful camera.
Thank you.
I just don't want to record this.
I can tell.
How'd we get our start? Who wants to go first?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Phil's story, 'cause I read
How did I get my start?
Humble beginnings.
Okay, so I started out in middle school, high school, and I was acting. I was going through theater, musicals, show choir, all kinds of things that were entertainment related. And I did that all the way up through college, and I ended up being around in Texas, around Fort Worth area, and that is where Funimation was at. And one day I decided to go into the open auditions that were being held at the time. And they kept calling me back, and it was a risk thing. It's like, am I cut out for something like this, or am I not? And, well, that just decided my path that day.
History. How long have you been in the biz?
The business? Since like 2012, 2013. Yeah.
Right on.
That long?
Right on.
She's a baby VA.
You're a big baby. Baba.
Doing baby.
I had similar beginnings with theater, choir, and all of that jazz. And I also found out that there was a giant anime machine studio in the city that I lived in. And like a lot of things that happen in life, I was nice to people at some point and networked in the right way, and got an audition for a show called Sasame's Magical Girls Club. And luckily it had some singing in it. I come from a singer's background, and that was directed by Leah Clark, and she cast me in my first role at Funimation. And then, just kept coming back and doing everything that I could, and that was about 11 years ago. So
Would you sing a little something for us real quick?
No.
The lines?
Worse than that.
I just wanted to hear you sing. Or not. Later,
just to you.
Sing for you.
Private concert.
We're going in order? Oh.
Yes.
Worst person ever to answer that question. Somebody asking me how do you get started in voiceover is like asking Donald Trump how do you become a billionaire.
Look, I got a small... The first thing you do is get your father to give you $14 million and go from there.
A small loan of $1 million.
No, I started voiceover after I was on Mad TV, so it's not really a feasible business plan for most people. So get on a sketch show and then start doing cartoons.
Yes.
Phil, is it not true that when you were in maybe high school, you guested on Mr. T cartoon?
Oh, no, I didn't.
At university.
I was one of the kids on the Mr. T cartoon back in Don't clap. It's not amazing. It was horrible. It was a bad show. It was a cash grab. It's like, it's like, well, we did cereal, we did action figures. Did we leave any money on the table? Oh, Crease. Oh, we forgot the cartoon.
Look at that.
I watched it.
Me too. Look at Phil LaMarr.
Dude, it was Mr. T as the coach of a gymnastics team that traveled around solving mysteries.
So it's realistic.
Mr. T don't even do gymnastics.
I'd carry that lunchbox if it was on the side of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So sometimes people just find themselves in that situation. Because you were acting, and you grew up in North Hollywood, didn't you, Phil?
I grew up in LA, and I mean, for me, voice acting was just one spoke in the wheel of performance. And then it happened to take off, and I got really fortunate to work with amazing creators like Matt Groening and David Cohen on Futurama, and Dennis Cowan and Dwayne McDuffie on Static Shock, and Doug Langdale on The Weekenders, and I was able to start building a career.
Doug Langdale, who I used to do improv with, wonderful guy. Go ahead, darling.
So, like many of the people up here, I've been performing my whole life, and went to school, got a bachelor's in acting. Don't recommend that if you want to eat. And then so in '95, I was living in Houston, and I was going to, I love this story because it's so pathetic. I was going to a commercial print modeling school. Those exist. What you do is you take these classes, and they teach you how to use your face, because you're not attractive enough to get into modeling school, but you're really interesting and expressive. So you do things like, I really enjoy drinking tea. And it's all those billboards you see with people with like pearly white teeth who, chew Trident. And that's what commercial print modeling school is. Don't do it. But there was a really wonderful acting teacher there. Her name was Sharon Shaughnessy. That's when I had abs of steel. Wow, you pulled that out of the deepest, darkest I need a moment. You think I look older there? Well, thanks. It's a compliment. I was like
18.
Moving on.
Haircuts.
You found that.
18.
I still have that belly button ring.
Can we see it?
Later.
Awesome.
Where did you find that picture? I'm having a moment. Oh my God. Google. It's not on my website. That picture's been banished. Okay. Anyway, I'm still having a moment.
Everything belongs
So
to
am I.
us.
Change it. No. Okay. I'm just like, thank you, God. Oh Lord have mercy. So there was a wonderful teacher there. Her name was Sharon Shaughnessy. She's got a really low, like a beautiful, sultry voice. And she's like, I work for this company called ADV Films, and they're looking for actors to dub Japanese animation. Do you know what Japanese animation is? And I was like, well, my favorite movie is The Last Unicorn. That's Japanese, and I grew up on Speed Racer. It's like, yeah, I know what it is. And so it had just started. Dubbing had just started, and the ADV Films, they were pulling in artists from next door, the artists working on the actual art for like the DVD covers and whatnot, or it wasn't DVDs, back in the day it was VHS tapes, so I'm gonna beat you with my cane, but anyway, but because they didn't have any actors to dub, and so it really fell into my lap, and my first job was 3 big lines in a show that no one has ever heard of called Evangelion. And one of my lines was, the doors are now closing. And they closed, so I did a really good job. So that's how I got started, and it snowballed. Then I just went to New York, and I started working for a bunch of other companies, blah, 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 and now I'm back in Tejas.
Right on. Give it up, right?
Oh, got that picture. Oh, my God.
Hey, could you put that picture back up for inspiration?
Just like for a second.
Or perspiration?
Enough for her to take a picture of it.
So while they're having a discussion over here, what was the question again? Inspiration, then perspiration.
Yes.
Here, I got
all right.
You're my
the deed is done.
So the question was, how did we get started? Humble beginnings?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Well, my story isn't, incredibly different from these folks. We're all actors.
I did that earlier. Oh, I'm good. I'm not. I snorted myself, and I'm trying to play it off as if I meant to do
You
it.
snorted your coffee. She's snorting her coffee. You can't drink it. But if you need a quick caffeine buzz, why don't you just put it up your nostrils?
Keep talking. We have so many questions to get.
You want to use my banana instead?
People who are 3 deep, you're never gonna
I'm so sorry. No, keep going.
No, that's all right. So we're all actors. I know as a kid, I used my imagination and played, and eventually I did theater. And when I got to college, I studied radio, TV, and film. And at one point, in the summer before my senior year ended, I saw an ad in the paper for voice acting. I didn't know what it was. I knew that I loved cartoons and comic books and movies and TV. I loved acting, I loved doing impressions, and I loved playing. And I thought, well, why don't I try this thing? Like, maybe it's good, because Phil and I both do lots of impressions. As kids, we grew up doing that. So I'm thinking, hey, maybe this is a place for someone who can do voices could go, and whatever that is. And that was my first introduction to what this voiceover world is of acting and getting skills to read copy and break it down. And I took this, basic fundamental class in Beechwood, Ohio, outside of Cleveland, by a gentleman named Gene Fallon, who claimed that he started HBO in New York. Before it was cable, whatever. I believed him, and but he was an awful director. And but he made his money off of me, God bless. And that was my introduction. And then from there, I moved to Los Angeles after I graduated college and just started pounding the pavement. And I took my first animated voiceover workshop in 1988 from Bob Bergen, who's a peer and a friend, and is the voice of Porky Pig. Yeah, and he started at 17 because he had a dream and he wrote Casey Kasem, and it just goes like that. Whatever it is you want to do, make a plan, ask questions like you're asking, and if you really want to be a voice actor, just go on the internet and read all the answers to the questions. iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. D. Bradley Baker has laid it out.
Steve Bloom has something on his website, literally called "How Do I Become a Voice Actor?" Go to his site and read it. It's advice from Steve Bloom, so you can't really go wrong. Yeah, so.
Thank you. Except the part about circumcisions.
Try to we can get to okay.
No, it's fine.
Hey, this is for the Dragon Maid crew.
Huh?
What's that?
The Dragon Maid crew. So, okay, so what was your favorite voice line to voice in through the entire series?
I don't remember them all, but I'll say, did anyone come to the panel last night? Yeah. It's the same two lines. One of them might not be PG-9 friendly, so I'll just say the other one. The other one was the wicked. Yeah, just the lots of wicked. The other one, yeah.
Gosh. I wish I could remember a lot of lines specifically, but I know her little thing that she kept on repeating was
D for dragon. Well, it's D for dragon, if that helps.
That, and also that one line I was able to slip in where she's supposed to say yes, and when Miss Kobayashi asks her, it's like, hey, Toru. And she goes, yes. Yeah. They kept that, and I was so happy. Sometimes I just go back and I just watch it whenever I need a laugh.
And there you go. Look at that.
Wow! Yay!
Hi, what's your question?
Hey, what was your original, I guess, gateway drug into anime or video games?
I had an Atari. I had the first Atari ever. I played Memory Match. I was really good at Memory Match. My memory is not good anymore, but I was really good at Memory Match. God, that was so long ago.
Gateway drug? I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
The original, spark that got you into...
Oh, okay. I was like...
Introduction.
That didn't really get me into anime. I mean, so the last unicorn got me into anime, and what got me into games, and I'm not much of a gamer now, but I mean, I was crazy about my Atari, so the end.
I'm not...
Joysticks! I broke one of those red buttons because I was like, I'm such a button masher, especially if I'm playing Mortal Kombat or something. I'm just like,
And she still does that today.
I do. I love Mortal Kombat.
Well,
anyone else? No?
Yeah, you know, I didn't have this opportunity. We didn't have that in the home I grew up in. So I got stuck in the arcade level. And after that, I just never played. And I tried playing the Metal Gear series after it came out. And I failed miserably. I was like a horse who couldn't get out of the gate. So at that moment, I realized, I said, you know, you guys are the pro gamers. I'm the pro actor. Have at it. My gateway drug was failure. Next.
Every day of my life. Okay.
When I was 10 or 12, we went to Hawaii, and I pride myself on the fact that the whole time we were in Hawaii, I never went to the beach. But I did walk the length of Oahu looking for a comic book store and playing arcade games in every arcade I passed. That entire, probably spent 6 hours walking the length of the island and about $25 in quarters playing Galaga.
It was awesome.
I'd probably say the Orig My Little Pony.
Well, I started off on the Nintendo 64. I didn't really, I played it quite a bit, mostly with my family, Diddy Kong Racing, all the little kiddie stuff. I remember even up until high school, I was playing it Pokemon Stadium with my dad. It was really funny. He got so mad, so mad. He threw the controller. He's little. He's digging a hole, and my dad's like, "Why do you keep pressing that?" I don't want to play with you anymore. But so there was a while ago, I just wasn't really that into it until I think my brother got a GameCube, and I took possession of it at some point, and there was a game that came with it, and I never really played it because it was just a freebie, and it was Zelda: The Wind Waker. One day I decided, I played all these games, and that free one came with that. I'm gonna try it out, and I became obsessed. And I needed everything Zelda after that, but it really opened my eyes to wanting to play all kinds of other things too. So yeah,
like gateway drugs.
Wind Waker got me hooked.
I just want to do a real quick callback since you brought up Thank you. Galaxian. That's it. Those were the two. So that's where I peaked. I was so excited. Nothing has been able to take that place for me. Next.
Oh wait, but the Twilight Princess, that one was my favorite. It still is.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Look very Wonka-esque.
Beautiful outfit.
Thank you, I'm Willy Wonka.
I knew it.
You guys want candy? Yeah, come here.
As long as you're not a stranger.
Hello. Do we want candy? When do we not want candy?
You lose. You drank fizzy lifting drink.
Just throw it at us. I'll catch it in my mouth. That was PJ, and I'm talking about candy.
No, wait, I don't like banana.
I mean, I like real banana.
Thank you, Willie.
My question isn't actually on my costume, it's about one of my favorite movies, Back to the Future.
Yes.
And the question is, if you had the chance to go 88 miles per hour back into the past, what would you change?
Oh, honey, we do not have enough time to look back on my life.
I got a simple answer for that. I would, on 2 different occasions, I would wear a condom. Very simple. It's very simple.
Are your kids here? Are your kids here?
Come on.
I mean, we didn't talk.
I didn't curse.
Where do you go from here?
Honest to God, people, we're adults here.
If I could go back to the past, I would make sure I did not let the demon speak. I would just cut his head off. Seriously, never let the bad guy talk.
Oh, Marty.
Y'all got something?
What would you do?
I just don't.
You're too young to go back
I don't know.
That would be like last week.
She's 12 years old.
Sarah could go back last week.
Thanks, man.
I'm kidding.
Hello.
Hi there.
That's really loud. My question is for Quinton. I couldn't come to your panel last night because I was at the Dragon Maid panel.
Oh, it's okay.
Thank you.
That's right.
Just kidding. My question was,
Yes.
what was your favorite line to record as Jin from League of Legends?
Oh, all of them. Yeah, there's not one in particular. I can simplify it by saying just getting the role was a gift. Because they wanted me to, and I know Phil will appreciate this, and maybe you ladies too, they wanted me to create an original character to be distilled from 4 villains. I had to watch clips from Dexter, Skyfall, the original Psycho, and Seven. So they wanted elements of all 4 of these villains, and they wanted me to distill that, create my own based on a certain age demographic, and make it mine. So I did. And then they sent me a callback audition, and I was in England actually, and all I had was my phone. And they said, do it again, but make him a bit younger. And I came up with this character who's, you know, the villains don't think they're villains, they think they're good guys, right? They're just people, like us. And so I had so much fun with it, and I loved it so much. It's one of those times when you think, I really want this. And that's the time you go, well then, it's really not gonna happen, you know? But it happened. So the fact that I got it, every line was gold for me. Because I gave them, you know, I was the originator of this role. So they could direct me different ways, but they couldn't change the base character because I actually created it.
That's awesome.
So there's your answer.
Hello, everyone. Hi. It is loud. I apologize. My question's for Quinton.
Yes.
On YouTube, you have you have a video where you do 30 impressions in 3 minutes.
Yes.
And I really like that video. Would you ever consider doing another one?
Yes.
Because I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
This is your YouTube channel?
Well, it's on YouTube. You can just put 30 impressions in 3 minutes. I actually took the story of Little Red Riding Hood, and it's nonstop, it's unedited, and it's me on camera doing one impression after another, like Gene Wilder, Alan Rickman, Ricky Gervais, Anthony Hopkins, Nathan Lane, Miss Piggy, President Nixon, you know, Futurama, and you know, telling the story of Little Red Riding Hood from beginning to end, and all 4 Beatles. So, yeah, it's kind of manic and it's really fun. You know, it's great to be going from Gene Wilder into Alan Rickman, and then Paul McCartney, and then John Lennon, and then George Harrison, and then Ringo Starr, Ricky Gervais. So yeah, answer yes, I would do that. You're welcome.
So, personally, I dream of becoming a voice actor, and I was wondering if any of you would have any tips on starting out, or what I should do, or just how to get my name out there.
So Steve Bloom, on his website,
I got the 2 things.
That's it.
the 2 things off of Steve Bloom's website.
The one thing, he had said Steve Bloom's website, not
And Steve,
voice actor.
he said Steve, and I said Dean.
So basically you're repeating
Got it.
Yeah, but the end.
Well, I was wondering if anything else from you guys personally, instead of just...
Can you act?
What?
Can you act?
I've done acting before, yeah.
Are you good?
I
Go be better.
Acting classes.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not cutting it off.
No matter.
No, seriously, that's the key. Is, you know, we were talking about this last night. People think it's about the voices. It's about the acting. The name voice acting is a misnomer. But to say acting voices wouldn't make any sense. But if you can create characters, you know, that's the key. Now, having a singing background a lot of times helps, because that way you can focus your performance vocally in a way that a lot of times on-camera actors have a really hard time doing this. But I would say learn to act. If you have a singing background, that will help you focus on the voice. And the last aspect to me is the being able to read from a page without sounding like you're reading from a page. Because the vast majority of the time, you're not memorizing anything. And most of us, when we read, we flatten out. We become disengaged. And as voice actors, your job is to do the opposite of that. When you're reading, you have to heighten it. You have to give it emotion and feeling and make it real for an audience. That's the job.
The other misconception, I think, when people say, I really want to be, and this is not to you, this is just general. I have a really interesting voice. I can be a voice actor. Okay, I'm a voice actor. I don't have an interesting voice at all. There is nothing interesting about my voice. In fact, some people tell me that my regular speaking voice is really annoying. There's nothing interesting about when I speak. It's my acting that brings my voice forward to then make it interesting, depending on what character I'm playing. So that drives me a little bonkers. Again, that's not what you said, but when people are like, and they start going, I have a really interesting voice, these are all the voices I can do, and I can do this, and I can do this, and then I can also do that. And I'm like, I don't care, because it has nothing to do with what you can do with your voice, it's your acting. That's everything. The end.
And I would say, don't limit yourself to the tiny, tiny aspect of just voice acting that will not serve you. Like, seek it out in any way you can, in film, in theater, in commercial, in improv, sketch comedy. Seek it out in any way when you're first starting out. Because limiting yourself to this one tiny niche aspect of the entire culture of this art form will not serve you.
Be an artist.
We like that.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I was just wondering what's it's like collaborating with each other and as well as other voice actors. I believe Quinton collaborated with Ernie Sabella.
Yeah.
And Timon and Pumbaa. And I believe you and Phil collaborate with each other in an episode of Samurai Jack, if I'm not mistaken.
We did, and we also were on the Metal Gear series. Philip and I have done 3 of the games, Metal Gear 2, 4, and Rising Revengeance. And he's played 2 characters. He played a villain who almost killed me, and then he played my best friend.
Well, and also the thing that was interesting about Metal Gear, it's one of the few video game experiences where I've actually gotten to work with another actor, because Quinton and I actually got to record our lines for Metal Gear 4 together.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And you guys may not know that we normally just work by ourselves, right? We're in the studio by ourselves. We don't tend to see anyone else. You go in for your session, it's you, the director, the engineer, and then you leave. So you might see someone in passing. Like, I was in like a multitude of shows with Josh Greeley for years before I even got to meet him. I know Josh Greeley's amazing. He's my best friend. Match. But we knew who each other was, but we had never collaborated because we never saw each other. So that's cool that you guys got to actually work together and record. It's so rare. Yeah, it's rare.
That's actually really funny because I remember I kept on being cast in shows with Aaron Dismuke, and I kept hearing it. It's like one after another. I'm like, here it is again. Where is he? And then one day I show up for Showman Sample, and he's like, hi. And I'm like, it was you! I finally found you.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like every time.
I find it much easier to do it with other actors. When you're acting with someone else, it's a lot easier. But it's also, I think part of the challenge, when people are doing video games, doing dubbing, and working alone, you have to create all of the context, all of the emotion, all in your head, and make it come out and make it real. And that's I guess, part of it makes you guys good.
You too. You're good at what you do also.
I will say the really neat thing about it is everybody's different. We all have, unique set of skills as different and similar as we all are. Finding that magic in the moment that happens with you and another artist or actor, it's always fun because it shifts. It's like going with a wave, The thing is, I know about, again, I go back to Phil because we have a very similar background and our interest with not only cartoons and comic books, but impressions. So not only are we doing the roles that we're set up to play and then given the direction, then when we get to play and just be Phil and Quinn, like that for me is just, it's such a joy, you know. It's a bonus. It's like getting to do an extra session on top of a session, you know. So anyway, there you go. It's my love letter to Phil.
Okay, I was eating the mic, wasn't I?
No, he's doing good. Eat it.
All right, well, I was just wondering, which do you like to do better? Redubbing an existing animation, like an anime or a show where you're replacing an actor, or acting for original animation that's going to be done later?
I like it all.
I do too. I don't have that much experience with original animation, so it's something that does really interest me to learn more about and like to do more of it. But I mean, I don't have a preference. I just like that I'm lucky enough to get to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Originals are cool.
I've done it all, and I like it all.
You've done both, right?
Both what?
Dubbing and
yes, I've done original cartoons where they dub it.
I guess you two are the only ones that have got experience in both, right?
I have an animation, anime, and video games, narration, promotion, commercial. So yeah, anything goes for me.
Yeah, and actually that was an earlier question someone asked about a small role. I can't remember, something that was underrated. I actually did an original animation with Bai Ling. You guys know who Bai Ling is? Just Google her. She's super famous. She was in she was actually in one of the Star Wars movies, but her part was cut out. Anyway, Bai Ling, B-A-I-L-I-N-G. She's amazing, and yes, she's a Chinese actress. She's super famous here. But we did, there's an artist by the name of Voltaire. He's a musician, and so this is when sci-fi.com had just been born, again, in the 90s. And he did this original animation called Chi-Chan, and she played Chi-Chan, and I played this small floating metallic teddy bear, and his name was Dr. Yoshimoto, and it was just this weird voice. Super, and it was stop motion animation, and so Voltaire was one of the people that worked on, remember the Grapevine, heard it through the Grapevine for California Raisins?
Yes.
So Google that too, so he was like the lead animator on that, so he's really talented, and but that was that's Voltaire, he's awesome, but that was an original animation, and it's so fun to get in there and you get to do what you want, and then they create afterwards to your face. So that was really cool. Yeah, I like doing both though. The end. Yeah.
Double. Voltaire also wrote Candide for any of you literature fans.
It's a different Voltaire. He's really old.
That's where he got his name.
I have a quick question for Phil.
Oh, you think it's quick?
As Ollie Williams, how's the weather doing, Ollie?
It's raining sideways.
First off, thank you all for coming. You guys were awesome, especially Quinton. I'm a huge fan of you. Reno was my first anime crush in like the world.
Thank you.
But my question for you is, what characters have you voiced that you have felt most connected to? If any.
You want to say the one she had the crush on?
Reno.
You don't have to.
No, I know. Well, Reno actually is very much like me when I'm being sarcastic, which is often.
So you're saying the character she has the crush on is very much like you?
Yes. Yeah. How about
Interesting.
Yeah. That's something to think about. Yeah. No, he's like me, and you know, I mean to do well, and I want to stop the bad guys, but I don't always, do it right, and it can be a comedy of errors when I'm trying to take them down. So for me, it really is. I'm very much like Reno, and that's, I think, why I got the role. Because if you saw the movie, Final Fantasy Advent Children, which of course you have, he and Rude are the comic relief. Everybody else is so darn serious, right? Why so serious? What's that?
I completely fangirled when Reno came in Advent Children. I was so used to the video games, so seeing the voice was like amazing.
Right? And so maybe if you know anybody, because they're reproducing that game, 7. If Reno's coming back, if you can put in a call for me, I'd appreciate that.
Let me just go my connections.
Awesome. What's your name?
Athena.
Athena?
Yeah.
You are a Greek goddess.
You are. Awesome.
It's also the name of a Who song from their 1982 album. How much I need her.
I'm waiting for the song to actually start playing.
See?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Good. I have a couple questions, but I'm only limited one. So, Bill, what's easier doing, mainstream, like say Stack Shop or Samurai Jack, or doing anime?
I've never done any anime.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, sorry.
You're sad.
I know.
So it would be.
So I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that the dubbing there'd be a huge technical challenge in that you've got to fit your acting into someone else's timing, which seems like it'd be really difficult.
It's pretty hard.
But I defer to my expert friends.
You can. I mean, I gave you.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Other questions since he doesn't do it.
Yeah. What is your other question?
This is telling my age. I remember you as Strike Witches.
That's really not showing your age.
Would you ever do Strike Witches again, if they ever thought of it?
Yeah, I really was hoping for like a cameo on like Brave Witches, and it didn't happen. So sad. I loved that. I loved that ridiculous like propaganda campaign they did for season 2, like winning the war on pants. I mean, I just thought it was funny. I mean, they have rocket legs. I mean, come on, it's pretty fun. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. That was the underage anime, but that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I thought she was talking about something that came out like in the 60s.
Right.
Hello.
Hi.
I just had a question for everyone. Like, do you ever show your family or friends the shows or like video games you play? And if so, they would give you like a look or said something.
I showed my parents an episode of Attack on Titan where Hanji was freaking out, and my mom and dad were like, well, sure, but they were also like, now, what are those big people, and why are they eating the other people? And my mom's like, why does your character keep screaming? And my mom's like, why are you stabbing that other big person in the eye? And I'm like, yay. And I'm like, Mom, it's acting, it's anime, I'm Hanji, come on, you know, so. Yeah, that's always fun. I have a hashtag showing anime to my parents that I'll use every once in a while when I just show them an episode and their heads explode.
That reminds me of that model of the Visible Man.
Yes.
What happened? Did Sarah break? Did you break? What happened, sweetheart?
Are you acting right now?
What happened, Sarah?
I just remember, I remember like one of my first roles was in Tokyo ESP, and I showed my dad, I was so excited, and like one of the first things she does is fall through like the neighbor's apartment naked, and my dad's like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about
it's just my voice,
and this, and then like there's like, he kept bringing it up to other people every time.
We broke Sarah.
Like, he got funnier as time went by. Like, I even like showed him Bikini Warriors. He's like, whoa, I need to watch this when no one else is around.
So were you the brunette, the blue-haired naked chick, or the white-haired naked chick?
The white girl.
All right.
That's what they called her.
I like that skirt.
Yeah, I bet you do. She's sort of.
All right. So, anybody else, have you shown anything to your parents that you maybe, or family friends that maybe was a little uncomfortable? Anybody?
I mean, I make my parents uncomfortable all the time, but I already told my story about the anime one, so I'm good.
Yeah, I don't.
Look at the Visible Man!
I know. I saw.
That kind of looks like the Colossal.
Exactly.
I also always got the, so when are you going to be on cable? When are you going to see you on TV? It's like, oh my god, it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss.
My mom has tried. I think the only thing that she's watched all the way through is Wolf Children, though. But
oh god, did she make it through alive?
Huh?
She make it through alive? It's so sad.
She did, but I think she tried to watch some of Dimension W when it was on Toonami. She's like, because she has the TiVo. She's like, I tried to watch it, Jade Baby, but.
Oh my god, I love you impersonating your mom, Jade Baby.
Oh, yeah, I tried.
Oh no. I love it.
My family and friends are pretty supportive, to be honest. You know, and when I showed them in the old days, you know, stuff that I did, they were, you know, just very happy that I was able to actually achieve and succeed. So there you go. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey everyone. Hey. Sorry about that.
Sure.
My question's for Phil.
Yes, sir.
What was it like working with Greg Weisman on Young Justice?
It was great. I worked with Greg, although originally I auditioned for Calderon for Aqualad and didn't get it. But Greg was nice enough to cast me as Aquaman, and also Green Beetle and Double X. So yeah, I mean, he's an incredible world builder. The storytelling he does is unparalleled, and I also got to work with him on Star Wars Rebels at the beginning too. So yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to work with really talented people, you know. So you can't knock it.
Thank you.
And Phil has just told us he was king of the 7 seas.
I am the king of Atlantis.
Yes.
Atlantis will not bow down to you, Superman.
I love it.
Hi.
I have one question and a little bit extra for Quinton.
Okay.
If you could all just say your favorite one line from any anime, and then Quinton, could you please finish it with "Got It Memorized" by Axel from Kingdom Hearts?
Sure.
All right.
You want to start down that way? It's God. Do you guys forget? I always forget what my lines are. I don't hold on to it. I do have one, but I'm gonna start with you.
I can't think of anything.
Just say something. Say what you had for breakfast in your voice.
Well, it's funny because sometimes, I mean, honestly, speaking for myself, you don't memorize.
You don't remember
the lines.
That's ironic about it.
And if you're lucky, you have more than one job. So, you know, it's like, okay, there's a bunch of things that you're working on. And most of the time, the signature lines are told to me by fans. You know, I remember the first time I was at a convention and someone came up to me and said, "Can you hear me sing My Manwich?" And I was like, why? I didn't even remember it was a line. And then, oh, right, My Manwich! And then I realized, oh, that's a thing. You know. So.
I have a catchphrase. One of my favorite catchphrases from Attack on Titan as Hanji is, "Just let me touch it!"
Funny, that's my favorite line.
I know it is. I've said it to you a lot.
One of my favorite Konako lines is just 2 words, but I like to write on a lot of things, which is, "Suck it."
Strangely enough.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yes, one of your favorite lines.
Yeah.
EG9.
There's one that's from Honey Pop with Celeste, one of her first lines, she says,
I guess you're not too hideous for a human. Okay. I guess I'll be your friend.
And we'll wrap it up.
Got it memorized?
Hi.
Oh, we can't hear her.
Sorry, I'm short.
No.
I'm short too. It's okay.
I know that.
What do you guys typically do in order to warm up before you start voice acting?
I like to sweep back some bourbon, have a pack of cigarettes, a rail of coke, and read a porn magazine. That's just me.
Someone explain to the little girl what real.
Sure. Just a few
A sleeve of powdered sugar donuts.
I don't necessarily do vocal exercises or anything like that, but I do make sure that I've got a thing of water and and some Jack Daniels just to keep myself going. Every studio. No kidding. And I'll do a caffeine also. I'll have a hot tea on hand. That sounds boring, but and the cocaine, but. What do y'all got?
I just try to make sure that I get up early, have a meal, because I find that lubricates the vocal cords. and just not. You just don't want to get up first thing in the morning, because even though first thing in the morning, you know, you tend to have that deep voice, there's no range. It's like, you know, jumping into, you know, a football game, like right out of bed. You're gonna hurt yourself.
I mean, you guys are singers. Do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say I like to sing in the car, or like sing along to the radio. I mean, but I don't really do any specific like type at this point.
Nice.
I like to say that over and over.
Yeah, actually, I do the same thing. Every time I go into a session, I always have 2 cups, and one has water, one has coffee. But every single time, people ask me, it's like, 2 cups coffee, eh? I'm like, no, it's balanced. It's balanced.
Yeah. Do you find like if I'm only drinking water, I'll get like a lot of mouth noise. So I have to have some kind of sugar. I'll also do like a thing of grapes, like just to keep like have some sugar going on.
Yeah, I get too moist whenever I have too much. If I just have water, moist, so the coffee dries out.
Yeah,
you know, that's the balance. That's the balance.
Girl, we're like this.
Yeah. So yeah, also I might also sing on the way when I'm going to something. It's funny though, because I'll hear Natalie Hoover, like she's my roommate right now. I'll hear her going. And I'm like, no, girl. I'm not doing that.
Too hot.
No, girl.
Thank you.
I like to do itten bitten little ditten nishka biddly open do bobo skidita latin fat out and chew 7 times fast.
Woo! That's the one. And the cocaine.
You're right, and the cocaine, and lots of.
And a few bumps, if you know what I mean.
Thank you.
Quinton,
Yes, darling.
I was looking at this and I noticed that you played Raiden in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. I got
Correct.
it for my birthday 2 months ago and I love it!
Awesome. You are awesome. I love that you love it. Happy birthday. Right on. I hope to see you later. Sign in the film. Come see us.
Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. If you guys didn't end up becoming voice actors, I know a lot of times people's dreams get crushed and they settle for something. What would you have settled for?
A mediocre life of waiting tables.
She's saying if we did.
Are you with the guy who asked what was your worst job?
Y'all should get married.
Y'all should get together sometime.
Your dreams were crushed.
Oh my God, I'm depressed.
What would you do instead?
Anyone have any cocaine?
What was her question? I couldn't hear.
If we didn't become voice actors, what would we have settled for? Death? I don't know. I mean, acting's in my blood, so I would never settle for anything else.
Look, that's me.
And it's you.
I'm naked.
This is what Quinton would be doing if you were not here.
I would be selling my body.
That's the IRS. Skating in the body.
Be selling my body on the streets.
You do that anyway.
See, now the funny thing is they took his clothes, but not his sunglasses.
I know.
Or the necklace.
That's my
Well, that's his ID tag.
my dog tags.
Yeah.
I'm a dog.
They're a little considerate.
Dirty dog.
Look at
Oh my God.
I live in Austin, and there is a Whole Foods on every corner, and I really do wish they sold organic cocaine. Guys, drugs are bad. I'm kidding. Don't do them. Just meth.
I am not a robot. No, I graduated with a degree in English literature, so I'd probably be working at some high-powered English firm. Really? No, wait, that's not how the world works? Oh, shoot, sorry.
So many of them, so few of them.
Damn.
I'd be working at I would love to be working at the old restaurant I worked at in high school called Mr. Steak. But it doesn't exist anymore, so we're going to have to write it into a script, and we're going to make a film. Actually, I want to do a sitcom based on it.
Jade, I like you're doing this. It's,
I don't know.
are you singing to yourself? Are you chanting?
I'm like, what?
Would you be a chanter?
Like, what would I?
Would you settle for chanting?
From failing as an actor.
I know. It's like a weird.
I was imagining like a happy place.
You would have married that guy. You would have had 15 kids. And been on the streets.
On the
working
street.
for streets. Working for money.
Well, it sounds like you would have
I don't know how the world works either.
I'm trying to
15
read
kids?
myself.
We're out of touch with labor right there. What? That's 15 kids, that's labor. I would be on a farm.
Strangers in the night.
We'd all go on the road and we would be singing like that family from...
Exchanging glances.
Your parents were failing.
Wondering in our night.
Yeah.
Anyway, are we good? Yeah, go ahead. What are you saying? I can't hear you.
Because you're talking.
I know, I'm stopping.
Oh, for me. They made up I would probably like seriously trying to do my art. That's probably something I could only see me exploiting my creative side. Like, that's all I have. So I have to hone that somehow. I couldn't.
Nice.
And probably just doing a side job like I already.
When you say art, drawing, painting, sculpting, what do you do?
All of that.
That's, oh my God, really?
But mostly drawing, yeah.
So cool.
I picked that up on you. I get that sense that I'm psychic. That's what I do when I'm not acting.
Yeah.
Thank
Dragging us into our
Thank
nightmares.
you. We're all depressed. Kidding.
Thank you for reminding me.
Now I have 15 kids. And now you have 15 kids and you married that guy. Hi.
I have a really weird question.
Can't be weirder than the other one.
I was wondering if possibly you could react to Cone as Hanji, just like, you know how she does that thing with like...
Act to whom as Hanji?
The character I played.
Little pervy, fleshy lion.
Okay.
He's always trying to hit on you.
So the direction is react to your character Cone as Hanji, but what am
I saying to
What am I saying?
What's happening? What's the action?
Yeah, what's going on?
I think we're getting there. So what is the rest of it?
Just like how she reacts to like Titans, but instead it's like this little plushy thing that's like alive.
Okay, cool. Just give me something, I'll go with it.
She's a scientist.
And she's really off. She's not cute. She's very asexual. She's very she's a librarian, sexy librarian, but just sort of twisted off and does really unethical experiments on Titans.
It's Hanji?
And it's Hanji. Like Han Solo and then G, like, what up, G? Hanji.
That hurt my soul.
Hanji.
Yes.
It's me, Cone.
Cone, how are you?
I'm well, and you look incredible. Listen, I'm usually paired off with Rukia, but I gotta be honest.
Oh boy.
You've got this sexy librarian thing going on that is just so hot. I want to climb you like a ladder and hit it while it's hot.
What have you done?
Just let me touch it. No.
It's my birthday.
Step into my lab and then we'll talk.
Thank you.
I will vivisect you.
Oh,
I can only hope.
Hi, I actually had a question for Miss Jessica and Mr. Phil.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Phil.
Well, now, Miss Jessica, come on. We're going to get to the Piggly Wiggly.
Let's hear it. What you got?
I heard that there might be a third season for Young Justice, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, sir.
They are working on a third season for Young Justice, I think for Netflix.
Have they related?
I think I'm not spoiling anything. That's been announced. I'm not working on it.
Me and my best. Oh, really?
Oh, it took her a minute to react.
That's okay.
Yeah, my best friend and I, we were total Young Justice trash. We used all of the slang to crash. It was awesome. And for Miss Jessica, I saw that in the pamphlet that we were given that you had the role for Miss Rip Van Winkle.
Team 4-star?
I know that role has ended now, but do you think that they might possibly call you back for any other voice acting role?
Oh, yeah. So like a rifle through the chest would pretty much end any career. Yeah. Thank you. That was so much fun to play Rip Van Winkle in episode 4 of Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. I'm gonna give you up. I'm gonna let you down. Never going to find a clown.
Touch you.
Oh man.
Did you just rip roll?
I did. It's Rip Van Winkle Rip Roll. And I did the full song of that on my YouTube channel, so it gets really weird because I was maybe drinking some adult libations, but it goes there. It's really strange. But I also did Final Fantasy IV with them. I said something about, give me some of that sweet kush. It was weird. I haven't worked with them since then. I do have a project coming out, which I can't talk about yet, but it's part of the Team 4-Star game, but also a completely different studio. So supposedly we were able to announce it already, but we can't yet. So stay tuned for that, which I can't talk about.
My favorite line as that character was, the reason why no man has been able to kill you, Alucard, is because you do not send a man to do a woman's job.
You do not send a man to do a woman's job. Yes. Oh, thank you. That's really cool. I'm glad you liked that role. That was a lot of fun. Team 4-Star is awesome. Team 4-Star fans? They are amazing. They are amazing, and they're so fun to work with.
I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because it's gonna make you feel old. I'm sorry. My grandfather used to own Mr. Steak.
Where did he live? Where was he?
I don't even remember. It was my dad. I never met him.
Maybe they're related.
Here's the interesting thing. Now, the Mr. Steak I worked at was in a place called Mayfield Village, Ohio, which is northeastern Ohio, outside. I'm sorry?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, outside of Cleveland. So, and I've never even seen this logo because it didn't exist when I was there in the 80s.
I have the binder of the files, like originally from way back in the day. It's the only reason I recognize it.
Really? So you had that?
Yeah.
We didn't have that. From where did you grow up? What state?
Well, I grew up here.
And your grandpa?
Yeah, my grandfather lived way off into Ohio, and then they moved here because of his job.
We're gonna have to talk if there's time. I would love to. Seriously.
Right.
Seriously. Yeah.
So
I'm serious. Please stay so I can talk to you afterwards.
So we're just about at time. We have a little surprise. Quinton, Jessica, and Sarah have a script on their tables.
I really have to urinate. Why hide that from you? Why hide that? You guys were family. How much longer is this panel?
7 minutes.
Okay, let's go for it.
Actually.
Hey.
Okay, if I could ask you guys to announce which character you're going to be doing this scene. I think everyone will. It's a very well-known scene from a small little cartoon you may be aware of called The Simpsons. If you guys would just read who you're going to be playing and what character you're going to do the lines in, please.
Well, I'm going to be doing Chalmers.
As
Sarah. As Toru. Wait, as Toru? What?
I mean, as a character, yeah.
Oh! That's what
that character, whatever that was.
Okay.
It's like the tiny horse.
Sounds like Wendy's a good witch on a horse. Okay. And you?
Get it.
I'm next. Quinton Flynn, that's me. I'll be doing Timon, playing Skinner, but it's Timon, Skinner voice. I'm doing Skinner as Timon, or Timon as Skinner.
I'm Skinner's mother, and I'm going to sing them as opera. Just go with it. I have to pee, so it's going to be interesting.
Good direction.
All right, from the top, hopefully you know this ham scene.
But we're still saying like the names as the names and everything?
Yeah, Seymour.
Okay, alright. Well, Seymour, I made it, despite your directions.
Superintendent Chalmers. Welcome. I hope you're prepared for an unforgettable luncheon. Yeah, I thought you'd say, oh, egads, my roast is ruined. But what if I were to purchase fast food and disguise it as my own cooking? Oh, delightfully devilish, Seymour.
Cue song. Okay, you want me to sing this?
Would you like to?
I can, but or is there a song that's being cued?
No.
Skinner with his crazy explanations. The superintendent's gonna need his medication. When he hears Skinner's lame exaggerations, there'll be trouble in town tonight.
Seymour. Superintendent, I was just just stretching my calves on the windowsill. Isometric exercise. Care to join me?
Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour?
No, that isn't smoke. It's steam. Steam from the steamed clams we were having. Steamed clams. Superintendent, listen. I hope you're ready for mouth-watering hamburgers.
I thought we were having steamed clams.
I said steamed hams. That's what I call hamburgers.
You call hamburgers steamed hams?
Oh, yes, it's a regional dialect, like Mr. Steak.
What region?
Upstate New York, sometimes Northeast Ohio.
Really? Well, I'm from Utica, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed hams.
Oh, not in Utica. It's an Albany expression.
I see.
Yeah.
You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger.
Oh, no. Patented Skinner burgers. Old family recipe. Just like the kid out there with his grandpa.
For steamed hams?
Yes.
Yeah, so you call them steamed hams despite the fact that they are obviously grilled.
Yeah, you know what? The one thing I should... Excuse me for a second.
Of course.
Well, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all, and I'm pooped.
Yes, I should be... Good Lord, what is happening in here?
Aurora Borealis?
Aurora Borealis? At this time of year? At this time of day? In this part of the country? Localized entirely within your kitchen?
Yes!
May I see it?
No! No, Mother! It's just the Northern Lights!
Aurora Borealis!
Northern Lights! The Northern Lights!
Well, Seymour, you are an odd fellow, but I must say, you steam a good ham. Help! Help!
Spam! Glorious spam! That's steamed ham. Burger King.
Guys, another round of applause for our wonderful voice actors. Quinton and Phil have their autograph session in the dealer's room in a half hour. Also, come tonight for Guests Against Humanity.